Hello, I'm Brian Robinson of Robinson S Creative. My streetscape art project consisted of putting sneakers to pavement and talking to the seniors and disabled of Hilltop, Tacoma, asking them their needs, thoughts, desires, concerns, and for guidance on Martin Luther King Jr.'s way.
This is a new beginning on the economic front. We've dealt with the social question of legal segregation to a great degree, and we've dealt with the political problem of right to vote to a great extent. Now we are making a beginning on the economic.
Sometimes in America, it seems that we place the least amount of attention and care into the areas we are either all destined to go, or the ones with stark realities we would never dare to imagine. Old age and disabilities make it tough for the transportation of Hilltop seniors. Mix in the fact it's one of the most neglected neighborhoods in Tacoma, you may be surprised with the ideas of those who felt muted for years. Ideas of easier access, stability, and growth. What plan do we have for the impoverished? What hope do we give to the needy? What piece of humanity can we afford to give to the invisible nation of homeless in our area? Oh yeah.
I've been living right up there.
The Northerners are coming.
9 years.
My name is Stephen Smith. I've been in the area for, this is my 33rd year, but I stopped counting at 30. My effort has been to get a minority leadership backed program for a maintenance program on Martin Luther King Way. At this time I have about 36 customers on a regular basis. And it said that when I get to some magic number that the Merchants Association will back the program. It's been a long time, so.
Okay, and what's your name? Rose. Okay, you said that you don't feel like the seniors are treated well in the neighborhood or that they're represented? Okay, why do you feel that way?
It's just certain things that they don't take care of. My mom, of course, she passed. She lived there on 17th and in.
Now, is there anything that you guys want to see added to the neighborhood that would make it easier?
More disability access.
Yeah? Now, are you getting treatment for your eye?
Not yet. Kind of scary.
Or what would you like to see added to the street to help you with that?
No restaurant.
Food? More black food?
Yeah.
Okay.
Because actually, if you ask me, it should have went from here out to along Puyallup Avenue, Portland Avenue, that area. That has more needs for the. Because you think about it, there's like 5 buses that come up here from downtown, and I don't know.
No,
You know,
I like that. I like your frustration because you're a person that would use the public transit system.
Here's Transit's my avenue of getting around. I know the bus schedule's better than most drivers do, and I just don't see people using it.
Yeah. How do you see the light rail helping you out here?
Yeah, you know how they got the ramps for some of the crossings? They don't have them at all the crossings. I got to lift up.
Yeah.
And sometimes it's too much to have to lift.
How heavy is your walker?
Sometimes it's just feels too heavy for me on some days.
Yeah. Do you feel like it's safe out here for elders and
It's safe right now.
Yeah.
There's some that do that, all of us, but some that fuck it up for the ones that are doing good.
And you know? I've gotten yelled at over there at them homeless camp about picking up their trash. And he said it's an act of rebellion.
Fuck that.
He said, "This is my way of being
can't be right here already.
They actually updated like your guys' landscape out here with the gates and stuff. Does it make it feel safer out here for you?
Yeah.
The Hilltop still, even though it's been fairly safe, it really is, it still has a bad omen about it, that everybody still thinks, oh, the Hilltops. And it used to be 20 years ago. I wouldn't want to be here right now if it was. I'm hoping that everything goes good. It was really hurt when Pierce Transit, 4 years ago, they cut their services almost in half because they tried to keep up with Seattle's bus system and they just couldn't do it. Well, now they're, slowly coming back, but we'll see what happens. It's looking better, but
save a lot. They can open a nice little joint down there.
Yeah.
Okay.
Now, it's like that Rite Aid building across the street. If you look in a 360 around our community, you'll find a bus stop on almost every corner. We're a transit center. Whether we want to say we're a transit center or not, it's a fact. Now here we have a block where the buses can get to all four sides, an area in the middle that is a cork in the bottle in our community.
They have bathrooms and stuff. They're open to the public during regular transportation hours, but after that, you can still use these bathrooms, but it costs you a quarter.
No way.
Yes, it does. Like in Utah, you pay to go to the bathroom.
Oh, wow.
Go to
No
Utah.
way.
Be realistic. Toilet paper, paper towels, things cost. And that's why I tell you, if everybody do their part, even the homeless, I try to get a national homeless cleanup day.
We do. We could do it.
Every camp I go into, I help clean up, man. I pick up paper, I do stuff.
This particular building an entire block should be the Martin Luther King Transit Center. It ought to house the things that we talk about Dr. King, but our children don't remember any of this. And we got books and pictures and things that they can be displayed inside of this facility. A transit center gives you some important things as a community. It gives you public restrooms, telephones, TPD officer. And if that TPD officer gets up and strolls around the block, you have almost instant stability. It'll give you an influx of people into the area, about maybe 2,000 an hour. And they will go to the sandwich shops. And they will walk that distance between this hospital on this end and the hospital on the other end. But if you ask the senior citizen, do you want to try to take maybe a 10, 15 block walk and there ain't no restroom? The answer is, hell no.
The assertiveness and the aggressiveness to make the power structure of this nation say yes when they may be desirous of saying no. And it is my hope that we will get together and be together and really stand up to gain power for poor people, black people, Mexican Americans, American Indians, Puerto Ricans, Appalachian whites, all working together to solve the problem of poverty.
Every side I go to, if I'm not the only black person on that side, there is no black people on the side. I'm not over that also. No, I'm not. Mr. Beal, if you're going to hire me as a contractor, you should know my track record. You should know the kind of work that I have done. I should show you my portfolio. And you look and say, no, I don't think I'm here. I think I'm hired because I'm good. What's missing is some cultural competency. We're not competent on these jobs. The superintendents don't care what they say up here or how we're going to do things. When you get to that job, you show up with dreadlocks in your head, you got one day. And then I say, well, it's too soon. If you come to that job and you're big and you're black, you might have one day. Not unless you work so hard that you're so exceptional. You should know about well and what they have done, how they discriminate against black contractors. Okay, let me get into Hilltop. And so my point making here, sir, if you don't push back the CEO, that's what I'm saying. The CEO for some trying to get you here. But that's a request, and not just determine whether or not Walsh was a responsible victim. But they were defending this lawsuit. I hear you. And the judge that was against him on the federal charge of pervasive discrimination against black contractors and black people, refusing to hire them. I know they're here. Welcome.
Good evening. My name is.
This is one of the highest rates of rent and everything. These places around here, it's hard for these guys to have the taxes just to have your business.
That's a good question. I'm not really sure. Actually, I mean, I like the neighborhood the way it is. I mean, it's got a culture. I mean, it's better than it was in the 80s and 90s. So it's got its own little culture. I mean, I don't know. I think if you start building things and adding things, it kind of loses that culture. And then, you know, as like a homeless advocate, I'm worried about, or a housing advocate, I'm worried about the gentrification that will happen. You know, the property values will go up, and then people can't afford their rent. You know, and then people have been up here for, you know, all their life, or second generation residents who might, you know, might have to move somewhere else. You know.
The span of time since this has been Martin Luther King Way, it's like time has stood still. In fact, it was worse than time standing still. Every year that went by, customers moved to some other area. Doctors moved out of the area. And now we have this enterprise thing that says we're going to have $1,000 apartments. We're going to have things that Trader Joe's and things that senior citizens can't afford. We're being priced out. In 6 months to a year, I must move my location and my business from where I've been simply because I can't afford to pay the rent. Man wants to rent to somebody that'll give him $2,000 for the same place I've been paying $800 for the last 10 years. And it's nobody's fault per se, except we fail to use what we have to get what we want.
I feel sorry for some wheelchairs. You know, some of them hurt, just that laying on the streets. You know, find them something. Get them a shelter. All these empty buildings, if you ain't gonna do nothing with them before you condemn them, put them in there. It's not gonna hurt them. I'd rather see them there than out here on the streets.
I haven't had these in a while. Quite a while.
Do you have to move these every day?
Yeah.
All of them?
Yeah. Seymour is for the homeless people, so we camp here at nights and clean up their parking lots. Try not to have fights and argues, but you know, you got those people that don't even care. They just, you know, hang around and feed off of people that have stuff. The crackheads over there, and the cops not doing nothing for 5 years. To them people, they already gave me 2 citations to none of those citations over there on 14th and J. And I told the cops that's wrong. You know, I'm just here moving back and forth, keeping everything clean, but you're picking on us because no trespassing, you know.
Anything like that. I need somebody to come and go, hey, let's go. Somebody to move up. I like that, I can move out. If I got some big people, that's okay.
So you need some work.
I need some work.
I think that the city of Tacoma, minority leadership groups, and giving organizations like United Way have a mutual admiration society. And they don't come to seniors who are in business in the area. They don't promote ideas from within the area. And quite frankly, that when they get their contributions from larger organizations, down here on the ground, there's a pencil line. And that doesn't compute to seniors. It doesn't compute to young people.
How do you think the city tends to listen to the thoughts and opinions of the seniors that lived in the area?
I think they don't.
My name is Emmett Linton. I've been a resident of Tacoma since 1967. Apparently this is what I was sent here to do, because I've served I'll continue to serve the kids until I no longer can. We move with the club. Our boxing program moved with the club, and they put us in the multi-purpose room. I think this was in 1981, and we were there until approximately 2 years ago, when they told us we had to relocate. So we've relocated to Gray Middle School. And well, when we found out we had to leave from Al Davies to this location, we were pretty upset, and we had a lot of things on our mind that we were thinking and saying. And after saying everything that we felt, especially me saying everything that I felt that was correct, and I didn't want to hold anything back, but I certainly didn't want I appreciated being there for as long as we were, but I didn't want to really, jump on nobody in particular, and especially the director of the club. I'm sure she was doing what she had to do, and but we just had to leave, and so after saying what I had to say, and I didn't apologize to the director, because we've known her. I've known her and her family for a number of years. In fact, they grew up with my kids, so during the same time. So I told her, we still love you at my house. It's just that I didn't like the way it went down and we had to move. But as it turned out, we moved from there to here, and I won't say it's a much better place. It's just as equal, it's not as big, but we're accomplishing the same thing.
Bang, bang, boom, boom. People can't sleep. People can't get to popular restaurants and locations. The people have really worked hard to open up. It's going to be a hardship. Soon, between the two hospitals that are growing together and the University of Washington growing up the hill, Martin Luther King Way will be a paradise, a panacea. It'll be closed at 8 o'clock, and due to security, all of y'all can get out of here. But it'll still exist. And the problem is, where are the people that made it exist in the first place? I don't care what you take out of the stew, but if you take anything out of the stew, it ain't gonna taste the same. I don't care what color you take out of the rainbow. People can't put their finger on it, but they'll notice. So if we really want to be the community Dr. King talked about, then we must sacrifice to make it so. We must get out of our comfort zones and help the people who need the help the most. And if you weed us all out of here, and we got to go someplace else, we're going to say to ourselves, that's progress, I guess. And that ain't the way it's supposed to be.
What is it about the Negro? Every other group that came as an immigrant somehow, not easily, but somehow got around it. Is it just the fact that Negroes are black?
White America must see that no other ethnic group has been a slave on American soil. That is one thing that other immigrant groups haven't had to face. The other thing is that the color became a stigma. American society made the Negro's color a stigma. America freed the slaves in 1863 through the Emancipation Proclamation of Abraham Lincoln, but gave the slaves no land or nothing in reality, and as a matter of fact,
to get started on. At the same time, America was giving away millions of acres of land in the West and the Midwest, which meant that there was a willingness to give the white peasants from Europe an economic base. And yet it refused to give its black peasants from Africa, who came here involuntarily in chains and had worked free for 244 years, any kind of economic base. And so emancipation for the Negro was really freedom to hunger. It was freedom to the winds and rains of heaven. It was freedom without food to eat or land to cultivate, and therefore it was freedom and famine at the same time. And when white Americans tell the Negro to lift himself by his own bootstraps, they don't look over the legacy of slavery and segregation. I believe we ought to do all we can and seek to lift ourselves by our own bootstraps, but it's a cruel jest to say to a bootless man that he ought to lift himself by his own bootstraps. And many Negroes, by the thousands and millions, have been left bootless as a result of all of these years of oppression and as a result of a society that deliberately made his color a stigma and something worthless and degrading.
Are you recording?
Just a little bit.
Never mind. I need Viagra. Is that a disability?